Hi, FlossTube friends. This is Tina Frazier coming to you from Columbus, Ohio, with part 2 of my work in progress, or WIP. My work in progress or parade for 2026. Thank you very much for stopping by. This is a follow-up to my first video that I just recorded, where I'm sharing with you all the cross-stitch projects that I have currently in process for stitching, for cross-stitching. So thank you very much for stopping by my channel. I will kind of skip the introductions a little bit to kind of get into the content for this video. I encourage you, if you haven't already, to watch my first video. Well, you will get the first 17 of my 92 WIPs, works in progress, that I currently have going. People here on YouTube who are stitchers like me, we call our channels FlossTube, or our videos FlossTube, because we use embroidery floss to cross stitch with. And so our videos here about cross stitch are called FlossTube videos. And many of the channels do yearly or semi-annually WIP parades, where they show you all the pieces that they are stitching or that are currently in process that they have in their stash. So this is my long overdue part 2 WIP parade for you. So thank you very much for stopping by. I'm actually going to just go ahead and start right in. I keep a master spreadsheet on Excel with all my WIPs that I print out at the beginning of every year, and then it has tracking months on here, so I can see throughout the year which WIPs I have in my stash that I've either started or finished or worked on throughout the year. And this is kind of how I keep track of what gets stitched and what doesn't get stitched. So these are all the WIPs that I have currently started and am actively working on. I have a couple of WIPs that I have UFO'd, and those might come up later. UFO'd means unfinished object, UFO. And those are usually projects that people have decided that they don't want to stitch on anymore. So at some point in whatever progress they've made on it, they put it aside to no longer work on it ever again. And I have a couple of UFOs on there that or in my stash that I may show you at the end of this. But yeah, I don't really know. My other video was about an hour and a half long, and I only showed you 17 of my WIPs. There was a couple of stories on some of those newer projects that I started that I showed you in the last little video segment, but I'm hoping to get through more of these WIPs now. Again, full disclaimer, some of these WIPs I don't have adequate tracking on the designer, the fabric, the floss, the date started, or anything like that. So some of these projects, I'm just basically going to show you the pattern cover and also just where I'm at, because I don't know information about the flosses or when I started, that kind of thing, but maybe when I restarted even. So just bear that in mind as we're going through this next set of projects. I'm coming to you in my craft room. This is my craft room. As it's the same day as the first video installment. It's just a little later. It is now like almost 8:30 p.m. and the sun is going down. It is July 3rd. Or July 4th. Sorry, it is July 4th, Saturday, July 4th in 2026. And I'm showing you all my works in progress. I do have an iced coffee in my really nice Starbucks tumbler. It is not a Starbucks iced coffee. It is one that I've made here at home. And I'm just coming to you today with my long overdue WIP parade. So let's go ahead and get started. We're about little over 4 minutes in. So this first piece, I have a big plastic tub that I'm gonna try and go through this round, and we'll see how many I get through in this. I am checking them off of my spreadsheet as I go along, or at least attempting to, so I kind of know which ones I've hit and which ones I haven't shown you just yet. So this first one is in a Hello Kitty project bag. I am a big fan of Hello Kitty. I bought this project bag off of a person that was selling on Facebook. One of the Facebook groups I am in allows people to sell stuff, and this lady had a Hello Kitty project bag that she offered for sale, and I bought it. from her because I like Hello Kitty. It's a really neat project bag. It has a little handle and it's just a clear front project bag. This first project, part 2, is a pattern by Doreen Jones. It is called Patterned Cats 1. She has 4 patterns in this little series of cat patterns, and her second one is the same colorway, but it's only 2 cats and they're kind of curved this way, but it's the same similar style. It is full coverage, and I have all 4 of the series. The other 2 in the series are blue backgrounds. I do actually have those patterns as well, but this is by Doreen Jones. It's called Pattern Cats. I fell in love with this, and I fell in love with the set and just bought all 4 all at once. So this pattern, my card, is actually in the back of the thing. I keep track of all my pattern information now. When I start it, when I kitted it, the designer, the fabric I'm using, and the flosses that I've maybe subbed out on these little index card bits, so I know. And I started doing this in the last couple of years. So some of these WIPs, I will not have the information for you because I do not have these little index cards filled out for them. So this one is on a piece of 22 count dyed hardanger fabric that I don't believe I dyed myself, but I don't exactly remember where I got it from. And I'm doing 1/1 full cross because it is 22 count, and I'm using called for DMC. I started this June 17th of 2023 at Camp Gotta Stitch. Camp Gotta Stitch is the annual stitching retreat hosted by my local needlework shop here in Columbus, Cross My Heart, and it happens up in Amish country every year. So I have been going actively to these retreats since 2018. They have been hosting these retreats for over 30 years. So anyway, this was a piece that I took with me to Camp Gotta Stitch in 2023 and started it at camp. This is where I got to so far. And if you look at this piece, so this piece of fabric, you see the little blue dots that I have on the fabric. This is essentially as far down as the piece goes. So it's actually a relatively small piece. Keep in mind, this is on 22 count hardanger, but this is stitched 1/1 full cross. And that is where I've gotten to. Doreen Jones, Pattern Cats. And I am using the DMC flosses. I actually also do have the matching grime guard for the project bag. So the grime guard resides in the project bag with the cats. And I put this in the Hello Kitty bag because cats. This is another one of those mesh project bags, and I believe there are 2 separate projects in here. Well, there's a couple of different projects in here, but there are 2 separate projects to share with you in this. Yes, there are 2 projects in here. So the first one I'm going to show you is a set, but I am doing so far only the spring one. This is by Summerhouse Stitchworks, and it is called Spring Awakens. Carol Grant, one of the owners of Cross My Heart here in Columbus, she had a shop model of this stitched in very, very vivid spring colors. And I wanted to follow her vision for this and stitch it on bright colors as well. If you've watched any of my YouTube videos in the past, you know that I collect Mo Sale flosses, hand-dyed flosses. And I am stitching this using very bright Mo Sale flosses. And I can get you the colors, potentially. All right. Maybe. I don't know if I have the card in here. Nope, I don't have the card in here. But anyway, I am stitching this on a piece of 36 count Fruit Punch by Color and Cotton using Mo Sale flosses. The first floss color I'm using is Poussin. This blue is Easter Sky. The orange is Fanta, like orange Fanta soda. And then yellow is Disco Bunny. But this is Mo-Sail Floss. And this is cotton, 100% cotton flosses that I am using to stitch this. And I'm stitching this again on a 36 count Fruit Punch by Color and Cotton. And this is so far what I've stitched. Again, I'm not ironing my pieces. And this is really all the big this is going to be. So I am not ironing my pieces before showing you. And I have a little boba tea needle minder on my project. So Spring Awakens Summer House Stitch Works using Mo-Sail floss and Color and Cotton fabric. But this is the pattern it's going to be. Little bird in the rain. Spring Awakens. That is the first piece in this bag. The next WIP that I have to share with you is by Carolyn Manning Designs. It is part of the Shooting Stars collection. It is called Flamboyance of Flamingos. I believe this one came out last year. I really liked the colorway of this one. I kitted this using DMC floss, and I'm stitching this on a piece of 36 count CNC Color and Cotton fabric in the colorway Petunia. I started this March 18th, 2025. This was a March birthday start for me last year. So this is Color and Cotton Petunia. And this is where I'm at. I'm stitching this 1/1 full cross. Let me go ahead and fold this up. And I believe this, that is where I'm at. So this is Carolyn Manning, Flamboyance of Flamingos. And I'm using the called for floss. And I have Weekend Forecast, cross stitch with no chance of house cleaning or cooking. That's the needle minder that I have on this. This was a birthday start last year. And I have this in one of the plastic mesh bags that has a pink zipper. I got these mesh bags off of Amazon, actually. They're really nice size. They fit actually quite a bit. So that was Carolyn Manning, Flamboyance of Flamingos. And Summer House Stitch Works, Spring Awakens. All right. And we have Doreen Jones Patterned Cats as well. Patterned Cats. All right, get those marked off. All right. This is another set of pieces by the Stitching with the Housewives. This is a series that came out. It's called Wreath Swap. So the whole goal behind this is to stitch the letters H, M, and E in white on black. And then the O, you swap out the wreaths. The O are little wreaths that you swap out every month. And you can get different wreath swap patterns for each month of the year. So I have 12 wreath swap patterns. But so the difference I'm doing on this is I am not stitching the letters H, M, and E because these are entitled to be like 3 or 4 inch, or I think 4-inch letters. And I'm not stitching the H, the M, and the E. I have wood letters, about 2-inch wood letters that I am putting on a board, and I will be painting them, and then also just stitching the wreaths as the letter O. And I think I'm using the word love, maybe, or even welcome. I might be doing welcome. I don't know yet, but I have wood letters that I will be using instead of stitching the H, the M, and the E. But anyway, this is my start on that. Because I am using 2-inch letters for that, I am stitching this on black fabric 1/1. And I am using 28 count casual linen in black. I bought a fat quarter because I am stitching 12 of them on here. I don't have very much stitched, but I am stitching the tulips. There are the tulips right there. The tulips, which is the May one. And the tulips look like, is that the tulips? No, the tulips in here. Yes, the tulips are in here. So you're not going to be able to see this really well because this piece isn't really well, but it's this tulips one right there. That is the one I am stitching right now. But I will be stitching 12 of the O's to go on this. And that is Stitching with the Housewives, Wreath Swap. I don't really know if this pattern set is still available. But anyway, that is that. And I am using the called for flosses on it because I am stitching 1/1 on black fabric. So, re-swap. All right, let's go to this one. All right, so some of these pieces, I'm not sure that I'm going to have the, I'm not sure where the flosses are at this point because I have them rolled up and I have the fabric separated from the actual patterns. If I come across the patterns, I will let you know. This is Marilyn Leave It Emblems Earth Dancer. So as you can see, I'm mostly finished. I have the beading finished pretty much. I have to add the dream catcher, and I also have to add the suede fringe to her dress. That suede fringe has me scared. I'm not sure exactly how to secure it, but this is Earth Dancer. She is mostly finished. Oh, and I still have to add the whisper, the fuzzy whisper. There's some fuzzy whisper that goes up here by the feathers and in a couple other spots on her, but I have to add the whisper as well. But this is Earth Dancer. I am Native American, by the way. I'm 1/8 Washoe, Native American. So this kind of hits home. This is Earth Dancer. She's not finished yet. Let me go ahead and do Stitching with the Housewives. Stitching with the Housewives, re-swap. Earth Dancer. There's Earth Dancer. All right. Again, these next pieces are rolled up. This one, I can't tell you the color of the fabric because I do not know it. I also don't know exactly when I started this. But this is Santa of the Forest. And as you can see, I am currently working on his face and hood. I have the bottom part pretty well done. I have the bottom part pretty well done. But I am working on the Santa's face. This is Santa of the Forest. I think this is MLI, Marilyn Leavitt emblem, Nora Corbett's mom, Santa of the Forest. I think this is a lavender lace one. Let's see if I can find it on my list. Santa of the Forest. Santa of the Forest. Lavender and lace. It is a lavender and lace. Santa of the Forest. I may have to pull him out this year. I am going to be stitching the Santa's face over one because that is what I do on these pieces. I stitch the faces over one usually. Okay, that is that one. Ooh, I shouldn't do that. Need reminders. Mess up that. This next one is a Mirabilia. I have been into the Mirabilia mermaids in the past. I don't even know what this one is. Mirabilia. South Seas Mermaid. This is the South Seas Mermaid by Mirabilia. I started this between 2006 and 2010. I'm not sure when, but this is by Nora Corbett. Mirabilia, South Seas Mermaid. I don't know the fabric. I don't know the fabric count. I don't know the color. And I'm stitching this with the called for floss, called for DMCs and all that. South Seas Mermaid by Mirabilia. This one, I believe, it's also by Mirabilia. I believe this is the September Sapphire Fairy. This is one of her kimono people. No, this might be, this is a Dimensions kit. I think this one is the Dimensions kit that I am working on. Let me go check this out. Dimensions. I believe this is called Jewels of the Orient by James Hemsworth. Yes, this is probably Jewels of the Ornament by James Hemsworth. And I'm not sure which direction this goes at this point in time. Actually, I think it goes this way. But this is one of the Japanese kimono ladies. Jewels of the Orient. Little kimono. It's a Dimensions kit. Somewhere in my bin down here, I do have the actual kit stuff. I can't show you that just now. This is a Heaven and Earth design. The actual pattern and floss is down in the box down here. But this is a Heaven and Earth design. It is by, let me get up there. This one is by Allison Spokes, and it is called Hunter's Moon. This was one of my first Heaven and Earth design patterns that I ever started. And this is 1/1 on, I believe, a 28 count mushroom even weave. So this is one page down, one full page down, and I'm about 3 or 4 pages into the top row only. Hunter's Moon. When I get to the patterns for these, I will show you the patterns and also, again, where I'm at with this. But Hunter's Moon. Heaven and Earth design, Allison Spokes. And I was stitching this 1/1 full cross when I was stitching it. I haven't worked on this in quite a long time. So there is that. All right. Get this rolled back up and put it there. All right. Now we're into project bag. project bags, Hunter's Moon. All right, mark that. Okay. Let me go with the sides. Okay, so this is Mirabilia's South Seas Mermaid. So this is the South Seas Mermaid. South Seas Mermaid. Where I'm at on her. South Seas Mermaid. I may actually give her a little love this year. I haven't worked on her in a little while. Let me see if I can put her in at least with here so I know that she is with this in here. There we go. I'll do that. Okay, so that was South Seas Mermaid. All right. All right, here is Earth Dancer, the Indian Earth Dancer. So I have so you can see the suede fringe on her dress and also the dream catcher. I have to finish those. And I really need to get those worked on. This, I believe, is the Jewels of the Orient. Yes, this is Jewels of the Ornament. I was stitching it on 32 count cream linen, using the Kit Floss 2/2. I started it March 2nd of 2002. So that piece is 24 years old. And it was a Dimensions Gold Collection kit. So I don't have the bag for it anymore, but it is Dimensions Gold Collection kit number 3898, Jewels of the Orient. And I started at March 22nd of 2002. Wow. I started it that long ago. 24 years. Do I have that on here? Dimensions. Jewels of the Orient. March 2nd, 2002. 24 years old, you guys. Haven't worked on it in a long time. Alright, I'm going to have to move these now because I am going to be rolling over them. Alright. Alright. Next, we have this bag. This is in another Santa Garon Toten Bags bag. I have two very similar. No, I have two of the exact same project bag from Garon Toten Bags. I don't know what's in this, you guys. Oh. Is there two in here? There might be multiples in here. And I also have a little Notions pouch from this that matches. I might actually have the grime guard as well. Is this just... Okay, there's a couple of different projects in here. This one, I don't think I've started this one yet. No, I have not. So I'm going to take this out of my WIP pile. And this is going into my want to be stitched. That is also not a current WIP. That is also not a current WIP. But yes, I also, well, this is just a Santa one that is in a different fabric. Yeah, this is one of the Garon Toten Bags grime guards that's in a different Santa fabric, but I just put it in here. All right. Do I have the magazine bit for this? Yes, I think I do. I'll get this all out. All right, so this was from the 2023 Just Cross Stitch Christmas Ornament Stitch Along. Each year there is a Christmas Orny Sal Facebook group, and each year they take that year's Just Cross Stitch, or the prior year's Just Cross Stitch 2023 ornament issue, and they pick they do votes on which projects to work on for that year. And each month a new project comes up to stitch an ornament for that year. I was trying to actively participate in it. For 2024, we were doing the 2023 Christmas ornament special. So I have all the ones for 2024 flat. And I started this one in 2024. And let me see if I can find the actual one. I can't find the actual piece, but I can show you. It's here. We were doing this one. It's the Aurora Borealis with the Santa flying over. I was stitching this on a piece of 22 count Hardanger, 1/1, full cross. And this is where I got before I before I stopped working on it. So this is from the 2023 Christmas Ornament Just Cross Stitch magazine. And I'm using the called for flosses for it. I'm stitching it on a piece of 22 count loops and threads, Ada. Yep. Using the DMs called for DMC flosses. All right, those are not part of this. So that is that. I need to get back into stitching this and get this finished. So maybe this one will come out. Maybe I'll just take this to the living room and work on this one at some point. So I'm gonna put that off to the side over here. All right. This is another mesh bag. This is Snow Village by Country Cottage Needleworks. This is a multi-part set. Multi-part set with a bunch of different buildings. It has a bunch of different buildings, and you can stitch them as one big piece. It was a set, but it was called Snow Village by Country Cottage Needleworks. And this is the middle. So it has the big middle, and then you stitch all the little buildings all around it. I started this November 14th of 2020. So I started this the first winter of the pandemic. I am stitching this on 32 count Picture This Plus gray fabric using the called for floss, November 14th, 2020. And this is where I'm at. This may actually come out as well, come back out very soon as Christmas in July. So I got the middle part stitched and I'm working on the first business. So each of the businesses goes around the middle. So there'll be some on the top, down this side, and also down around the bottom. So that is Snow Village. I need to bring this back out and work on this. I'm probably going to do a whole month where I stitch on nothing but winter pieces. So that way I can get some progress done on some of my winter bits and get some of them stitched. I am stitching this over 2 on 32 count over 2. Picture This Plus fabric. Yep. So I have all the pieces to do the Snow Village, and I'm doing them all in one piece. All right. Country Cottage Needleworks. That is going to be in here. It's going to be on this side. Country Cottage Needleworks. Snow Village. What was this one? Oh, that was the Just Cross Stitch magazine. I'm gonna have to. So bear with me. I'm just trying to find the last piece on my my thing. Needles dance. Polar night sighting. That was the name of that little Christmas ornament. It's called Polar Night Sighting. Yep, from the Just Cross Stitch 2023 book. Right? This next one is also in a Garand tote bags project bag. Something got spilled on this one. This one is stained, but this is a Garand tote bags bag of llamas. I have a matching notions pouch and a matching Graham Guard. This is Fantasy Triptych by Teresa Wentzler. This was a dimensions kit that I had picked up a long time ago. I started this prior to 2015. I actually started this prior to 2000. So this is a really old thing. So there's a little story behind this one as well. This is the 3-part Teresa Wentzler. I have this as a leaflet. So back when I first met my husband, we were going over to a friend's house that was down the street and around the corner from us. And the wife was stitching Teresa Wentzler. She was stitching the castle one with the letters on the side. And the Camelot sampler. I don't know. But anyway, she was stitching her Teresa Wentzler. And I had picked up this one and I had started it. But I didn't realize that the piece of fabric that I had pre-cut for it was way too small. And I only had 1/2 inch of border around the actual border. If you see, this cross-stitch piece has a border around it. So I got down to the bottom and I had 1/2 inch of fabric on this side, and the bottom to frame the piece with. And I was devastated because I had the entire border stitched. I was devastated. So I went back to my needle workshop and I told them my problem, and they worked with me and gave me a deal on a new piece of fabric. Well, you guys, I got the border, the complete border stitched again. So this is the piece. And I have some, well, that's the back of the piece. So I have some of the land beneath the castle stitched. So this is where I'm at on Fantasy Triptych. I haven't pulled this out in a while. If you're familiar with Teresa Wentzler patterns are full of blended threads. I'll give you a deal. You see all those brackets? All those brackets are blended threads. So there's that and that. Lots of colors, lots of blended threads. Teresa Wentzler was known for her blended threads. So I am stitching this on a piece of 32 count antique white linen using the called for floss. And I started this pre-2015. I started this pre-2000 though, sometime. Or maybe it wasn't pre-2000, but it was very early in 2000. This has a copyright date. I don't know what the copyright date is on this, but because it's medieval and fantasy, Teresa Wentzler is no longer printing them and no longer selling her medieval and Renaissance patterns. So Fantasy Triptych, Teresa Wentzler. It's out of print, hard to get. I need to pull that out as well and just take some time and start working on it. So another Garand tote bags, Santa. Let me mark the Teresa Wentzler off. Fantasy Triptych. Okay. Not sure what is in this one. Okay. It's folded. Ah, this is Little House Needleworks Kringles. Little House Needleworks Kringles. I need to pull this back out. I have it rolled up, so the top is way up here. Oh, and I'm way at the top. So I have some of the roof done. That is it. That is all I have done. I need to bring this out and work on this some more. Little House Needleworks Kringles. That's crazy. This is coming out with me. I'm gonna give some love to this year. I started this December 25th, 2022, after midnight on Christmas Eve, using R&R 32 count iced cappuccino. So it's an R&R iced cappuccino using the called for flosses. So I think I'm actually going to be putting this one out as well. Kind of a Christmas in July. I've got a lot of Christmas in July stuff that I need to work on, and I need to make some good progress on some of these. Another Christmas Garan tote bag, cardinals. This is there's two things in here, I think. Maybe one. Okay, this is just one. This is a Charting Creations. This is not Heaven and Earth Designs. This is Charting Creations Blossom Blade. My husband and I really like anime, and we really like kimonos and stuff like that. This is called Blossom Blade, Charting Creations. Artwork by Max Windy. Charting Creations Blossom Blade. And for this one, I originally started it on a piece of mushroom linen, but I have a piece of undone 32 count easy count fabric in here, because I was thinking that I wanted to restart it, but I don't know if I want to restart it because I kind of like the mushroom. And they have a chunk done. I have not yet I've gotten some of the trees in, but this is kind of like a mushroom even weave that I bought at a big box store. Have to bring her out and stitch on her. Charting Creations Blossom Blade by Max Windy. I started this pre-2019 mushroom even weave from a big box store using a 28 count over 1. Count over 1. Max Windy Blossom Blade Charting Creations. Blossom Blade. Okay. There's a couple of projects in here. I don't remember where I got this project bag from, but I actually do have a matching, I have a lot of stuff for this that's matching. I have a little tray. This is a little, one of those snapping trays that you snap together that matches. I have a little thread catcher that matches. I have a little floss locker that matches. And this one, there's one piece in here that I have started, and I have some Mo-Cell floss in here as well for this because I'm using the Mo-Cell flosses on this. This is something that I wanted to do. This is from the, let me show you. The April 2022 Just Cross Stitch magazine, the one with the flowers on, April 2022. And this one is called the Easter Egg Trio. I'm doing all 3 of these. They are full coverage, but I'm using Mo-Cell flosses. and I'm stitching them on white 22 count hardanger using 1 strand of floss. And that is the first one that I am stitching. So that is an Easter piece. I had this out for Easter this year because I was hopefully going to work on it. But anyway, this is Easter Egg Trio, just cross stitch April 2022, pages 44 to 45, using 1 strand of floss, 22 count white hardanger, and the colors I am using so far are Flown Silk and Hazel Cotton. So the Flown Silk is kind of a tannish color. So you can see, that's not it. The Flown Silk is the tannish color, and then the other color, Hazel Cotton, is the other one. Hazel. Nice little Easter piece there with some Easter time accessories. Yep. So now I have to find the Easter trio on here. Easter Egg Trio by KEB Studio Creations, and it's in the Just Cross Stitch April 2022 magazine, and it is in my Peeps bag. All right, that is half of this tote, this plastic tote. Let me go ahead and do this one. It's in a mesh bag. This was a piece started a long time ago. This is you know, I'm not gonna show this one. Yeah, this one is an old one that I had picked up to stitch, but I wasn't gonna finish. So this one's a UFO, and I'm just making sure that I don't have this on my list anymore. Yeah, because I'm not stitching on this one anymore. So that one is going to be out. Yep, that one is out. All right. This was a kit that I had picked up a long time ago. This is a Janlin kit. It is called Angel Cat Ornaments. It's an old Janlin kit, long time ago. Angel Cat Ornaments. And this is where I got on one of the cats. It's on perforated plastic. This is the cat I am stitching right here. This one here. So it actually goes, I think, like that. Yep, perforated plastic, Janlin kit. Haven't worked on this in years. I started this a long time ago. Long time ago. This was also something I started quite a long time ago. This is Fancy That Christmas. This is an advent calendar, Christmas advent calendar by Fancy That. I was stitching these on perforated plastic, like a frosted perforated plastic. And these are the ones that I have finished. That reindeer is really cute. I actually need to work on some of these as well and get some of these finished. I think that would be really cute to get them finished. But I don't have the floss kitted for them anymore. And then this piece is something that I haven't worked on in a long time. This is Quick and Easy Gingerbread Christmas. It was a Gloria and Pat leaflet. So it's all these little gingerbread pieces, and I was stitching them on perforated paper. But you can see there is the candy canes. Did I have the candy canes on here? Yes. The candy canes up here. Perforated paper, which is you can't get anymore. I have quite a few of these stitched. This is one of them that I had stitched. Little rocking chair or rocking horse. Came from this set. I'm actually going to put this in here so it's together. But yeah, I was hoping to make a whole Christmas tree of nothing but stitched items. And then I did that. This was a little teeny kit that I got. It's my first 40 count gauze project. This is called the Pine Tree Sampler. It's on a piece of 40 count gauze. Look at that, the little pine trees. And you're not going to be able to see this really well, but piece of gauze, 40 count. I need to pull this out and stitch on it. Little teeny piece of 40 count gauze. But I need to finish it because it's a full coverage piece. But yeah, I need to finish the Pine Tree Sampler at some point. So this is a bag that probably won't be coming out anytime soon. These might end up being UFOs. I don't know, except for that little teeny gauze sampler. I don't know yet. Those might end up being UFOs at some point. So let me go ahead and I have to pick up my pen. Then I'm going to put this on my glasses so I can actually read what I'm trying to do here. So we have Angel Cat's ornament. Stands for Hall of Fantasy. Bear with me. Fancy that Christmas Advent calendar. Gingerbread Christmas ornaments. Make sure I didn't show you any of these. Nope. Oh, I did that one yesterday. Or earlier. Words to live by. Garden hands above the clouds. Okay. Just making sure that I have everything marked off. All right. Okay. I have everything. We're good to go. So, all right. We'll keep on plugging away. This next one was a stitch along that I started with my friend Kelly Green with Don't Run with Scissors here on YouTube. And she is a good friend that I met at StitchCon a couple of years ago. We saw this piece, this pattern, and she wanted to stitch it. I told her I also had it, so we decided to do a stitch along. This is called Jacques de Lantern by Barbara Sestock. I don't know if it's gonna focus, if it has focused, by Barbara Sestock. We don't know. We're trying to figure out if there is a companion piece, a female companion piece to this. If anybody knows if there's a female companion piece to this, please let us know. This is from the October 2019 Keepsakes cross-stitch calendar. This is the October piece from the 2019 Keepsakes cross-stitch calendar. I am stitching this on a piece of 40 count Be Stitch Me fabric in the colorway Macchiato. I started this October 13th, 2024. And this is where I'm at. This is a full coverage piece. This Be Stitch Me fabric is like stitching on butter, but there is where I'm at. He's probably going to come out in October again. But this is in a stitch and button project bag. My friend Vic, Stitch and Button. It is spooky caramel macchiato type things. Yeah. All right. This next piece is also in a mesh project bag. This is Glendon Place Fudgy Mint Mousse. I'm stitching this on Picture This Plus 28 count Fog Lugana using Dinky Dyes flosses 2/2. I started this, I think, in 2021. And this is Dinky Dyes. Dinky Dyes flosses are silk flosses. So this is using Dinky Dyes silk flosses, the called for flosses. This is really pretty. And I need to dig this out and also work on this a little bit more. Fudgy Mint Mousse. I didn't show you the picture. This is what it looks like. Fudgy Mint Mousse. I need to dig this out, work on this a little bit. But yeah, I think I started this in 2021. Glendon Place, Fudgy Mint Mousse. I should just keep that on my thing. Glendon Place, Fudgy Mint Mousse. This one. Okay, this is a Mirabilia. This is the September Sapphire Fairy. Mirabilia. I'm stitching this on lavender linen in 28 count using the called for floss. I started this sometime after 2011 because that was the copyright. September Sapphire Fairy. Okay. And so if you look here, you can see the arm holding the bird cage. This is where I'm at. This here is the arm holding the bird cage. Don't have much of a start on her. I need to dig her out and finish her. Again, my husband and I, we really like kimonos in Japanese style art. So when this came out, I snatched it right up because she is wearing a kimono. And that is the September Sapphire Fairy by Mirabilia. September Sapphire Fairy. Okay. This one is a set of stuff that I have started that I wanted to collect. These are the Annie B's Folk Art was doing a series of these sled patterns. Let's Go Sledding Ornaments by Annie B's Folk Art, 14 count brown perforated paper called for DMC. I started the snowman on July 15th of 2023. I finished it July 24th of 2023. But you put them on these little metal sleds, but you have all these different things. Do I have one in progress? No, but this was the snowman that I had finished in 2023. So I have one of them finished. I need to dig these out and start working on them again. But I am putting them on the perforated paper to add to the sleds. I may not finish them all on sleds because the sleds are $5 a piece and I need like 36 or 40 of them, which is going to get very, very costly, very, very fast. But I have a lot of them to stitch on the perforated paper. These are the Annie B's folk art sleds. Now, because my friend Melanie Pratt passed away last year, I have a lot of her ornaments, her mail hill kits and stuff. I have probably about 30 or 40 of her ornaments, stitched ornaments, to display very soon. And maybe if I get to stitching on these, I can get some of these hung up and displayed with her ornaments that I have. So that was the Annie B's folk art sleds. What did I do with my glasses? I took them off. Let me put these back on so I can flip them up and talk to you. Bear with me just a minute. All right. What am I looking at? I'm at an hour. Let's go sledding. Annie B's folk art. All right. This is Hunter's Moon, Heaven and Earth Designs, Allison Spokes. This is what it's going to look like. My first full coverage project. So that was the one I showed you earlier. This one was when I started when I was out in California a couple years ago. This is called Heaven and Earth Designs. This was a freebie chart at one point in time on Haid. This is called Coral. The artist is Bridget Ashwood. Look at her. She's really cute. I kitted this up and everything when I was out in California way back. The floss is still in the Joanne bag because I kitted it up when I was out in California. I originally started this on 28 count white even weave with the called for floss. I started this in the summer of 2018 when I was out in California. This is where I got started. I was going to do a 28 count even weave. This was all it was supposed to be. I got this little bitty start up here. I got a piece of 32 count easy count fabric and restarted it using, was I using 10th? No, I was using full cross, but I restarted it on 32 count easy count right there. So it's a really cute piece. I may actually bring her out at some point, do a little bit of a full coverage thing. I restarted her July 3rd, 2024. And she's in a little rounded corner mesh bag. All right. So one of the people that have a blog on Blogspot, I believe, Pinker and Pumpkin, she designs these salt box houses. I'm not a primitive stitcher typically, but I found her salt box houses and I decided to stitch one. And the very first one I stitched is actually an FFO, but I have a bunch of them to show you. I just kind of wanted to show you. This is what her salt box houses look like. This is the candy corn house. I have this piece of fabric that I am planning on stitching more of these on. So I have this large piece of fabric. I will be stitching more of her salt box houses on this fabric so I can display them together. So this is kind of a WIP in progress, so to speak. So I finished the candy corn house on October 7th of 2023 at the Fall Stitchin' in Warren, Ohio. It's on Picture This Plus Shale in 28 count, using Victorian motto flosses. Yep, so I found some Victorian motto flosses that I am stitching, that I stitched this with. But Pinker and Pumpkin salt box houses, they are free. If you go to Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting, Like this one is called the Hopper House. They are free patterns on her blog. She has a whole big set of salt box houses, like 30 or 40 of them. She has quite a few. So I will be stitching a lot of them on the Picture This Plus shell. And working on that. So that is what that is. That's actually technically a finish, but because there's multiple of them, I'm keeping them as a WIP. It's another Garon Toten bags. This is a breast cancer bag. All right, so that was Pinker and Pumpkin. All right, that is not on my list here, so I don't have to worry about crossing that off because that is not a current WIP. All right. This one is Princess and the Pea. It's a Heaven and Earth design. I really like Jasmine Beckett Griffith's artwork, and I met her at the Disney Underground or Disney Wonderground at downtown Disney out in California several years ago. I am stitching this on 32 count natural linen. It's a Heaven and Earth design. I'm doing it 1/110. I restarted this July 8th of 2022 on 32 count easy count fabric, 1/1 full cross, using Royal Rose. So this was my original start, and I was stitching it 1/1 full cross on this natural linen, and I decided I moved over to 32 count easy count because I was finding it a lot easier to track my stitching and to work on my stitching on it. So I restarted it on 32 count easy count, and this is where I'm at in the top corner. It's all one color, and I was doing full cross on this. I'm probably going to move over to just half stitches. Doing it 10 stitch because it'll go faster. Ooh, the needle. There we go. I didn't show you the pattern. I don't have the pattern printed. It's on Pattern Keeper, but it's Princess and the Pea by Jasmine Beckett Griffith. It's basically, if you imagine a bunch of mattresses and blankets stacked up on a bed with a little pea sitting underneath it, and then the person laying on top. That's what it is. Really cute. Jasmine Beckett Griffith, Princess and the Pea. Okay. This is in a Garon Toten Bags State, Nevada bag. Don't know what's in here. Aha. This is from Just Cross Stitch, December 1998. This is Thomas Kincaid's Stone Her Touch. This is a full coverage piece. I am a big fan of Thomas Kincaid patterns and Thomas Kincaid artwork, but his artwork is really, really expensive. And do I have my card in here? No, I do not, in fact, have my card in here. So I don't know when I started this exactly, but this is where I'm currently at progress-wise. And this is just on a piece of random, I want to say it's 28 count linen. But anyway, Stone Her Touch by Thomas Kincaid. Stone Her Touch. I'll go ahead and mark that off. Bear with me. Stone Her Touch, Thomas Kincaid. There we go. Jack, I got him. Boop, 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 boop. I think I did Jackalope. No. All right. Second to last thing in here. All right. This is Erica Michaels. This is one of her berries, her gauze berries. This is the Erica Michaels Scary Berry, her Silkberry Petites collection. This is on 40 count gauze, and this is where I'm at. Sorry, you're not going to be able to see that super well, but this is where I'm at. Lots of filling in to do. There we go. Okay. Scary Berry, 40 count gauze. Erica Michaels. Scary Berry. All right. Last but not least in this tote, this plastic bin. So Carol Grant from Cross My Heart here in Columbus, she owns Fireside Originals. And back in 2018, she came out with a series of seahorses that she put out as a big set. And this is the series of seahorses that you can get. I am stitching them all on this, just like this, on the called for fabric. And this is one of the patterns. They came out individually throughout the course of a year. And I do have all of them. I started stitching this in 2019 using Crossed Wing Collection Marl Lake 32 count, using the called for floss 2/2. And this is where I'm at. This is called Marl Lake, the Crossed Wing Collection. Marl Lake Crossed Wing Collection, and this is where I'm at. The two seahorses. So there we go. Get this back in here. All right. So that does it for this big tote. I think I'm going to stop here and regroup and restart a third video for you, since this is just over an hour long. I'm going to restart a third video for you, and hopefully we can get through the rest of my WIPs. I will do a count of how many WIPs we have gone through so far. So far total we have, let me double check really quick before I close this out, just to make sure that I have gotten everything for you. Seahorses, we just did seahorses. We did coral. We did Kringles. Seeing a sampler for a little, let it smell. Drinks, all right, so far we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. We're 45 whips into my whip parade. We have 93 total whips to go. So we're just under halfway. We're about halfway through my whips. So hopefully we will get through the rest of them pretty fast. Halfway in 2 videos is pretty good. So we might be either looking at 3 videos or maybe 4. So come back very soon to watch my continuation of my 2026 Whip Parade. I will be coming up with Whip Parade Part 3 very soon. So stay tuned and we'll see you then. Thanks.